Hello, vinyl community. It's Bill here again. And today we're going to do part two of the Scottish connection. So last time we looked at bands such as the sensational Alex Harvey Band and Nazareth. And we also had a look at Bert Jansch and the incredible string band. But we kind of left it a bit cut short. So let's continue with part two and see if some of your favorite Scottish acts have made the list. So first up, since I'm recording this video in the northeast Scotland town of Aberdeen, we should feature none other than another Aberdonian by the name of Annie Lennox, and this is her collaboration with Dave Stewart, and this is the Eurythmics' greatest hits. They'd been together in a band called the Tourists and did a cover of I Only Want to Be With You, the Dusty Springfield number. But yeah, they then created a whole raft of great electro-pop duets with the Eurythmics. And you just need to look at the track listing here. Love is a Stranger, Sweet Dreams Are Made of This, Who's That Girl, Here Comes the Rain Again, Sisters Are Doing It for Themselves, and yeah, Thorn in My Side. Just a great list of wonderful classic 80s pop tunes. And then, of course, Annie went on to do solo albums, including Diva, and covered Whiter Shade of Pale and other great soul records. So that's the Eurythmics. Yeah, just a quick glance at the Eurythmics. And now I want to move on to Gerry Rafferty. I've shown a couple of his albums before, but this came out in 1978 and had the hit album was City to City. But of course, the big single, the huge single from this, I think some YouTubers find it a bit of a cliche now, but was Baker Street with that fantastic sax solo on it. But yeah, there's Matty's Rag on this and City to City right down the line. Really great album from 1978. And then that was followed up in 79 by Night Owl, which has the great song Get It Right Next Time. And yeah, Take the Money and Run was another great song from this. And then in 1980, we had the Snakes and Ladders album, and yeah, this has got some really nice songs on it as well. Welcome to Hollywood, Bring It All Home, and Johnny's Song, amongst others. And the illustrations, as usual, are by John Byrne or John Patrick Byrne. So when you see the signatures, it will say Patrick on it. Great Scottish artist and screenwriter and man of many talents. Then I'm going to switch to CD after showing this one, The Awards, and this is from 1989. And here we have some great Scottish bands such as Deacon Blue, Real Gone Kid, Aztec Camera, How Men Are, fairground attraction with the perfect single, Perfect. And yeah, just and another Scottish band here that we'll quickly gloss over, but Wet, Wet, Wet were a phenomenal success in the 80s as well. So yeah, another Scottish connection there. But I will come back to some vinyl later on. But I wanted to share some CDs, and this is the Mull Historical Society. And this guy is Colin McIntyre, and he's a bit like a Hebridean beach boy. So he's the Brian Wilson. He puts all the tracks together and some wonderful harmonies in here. And I think he also gets a choir involved as well, and some interesting sound effects of disembarking from the ferry from Oban to one of the islands. So you'll notice that I've done an injury to my finger. So I've snapped a tendon at the top of my right hand little finger. So apologies if that's putting you off a little. So Mull Historical Society, can't recommend this album enough. Fantastic, beautiful harmonies, etc. Then another great band from the 90s, and Della Mitri. And the album you really need to get is Twisted, but this has got their best of or greatest hits, which includes Nothing Ever Happens and Hat Full of Rain, Food for Songs, and Roll to Me are among the really good tracks on this album. So again, nice harmonies and very interesting lyrics, very clever songwriting. So that's Della Mitri. And then I want to move on to Teenage Fan Club and Grand Prix. This is the album that has that fantastic song called Sparky's Dream. And if you want to find out more about Teenage Fan Club, have a look at James Griffiths' video. I'll put a link in the description, but James did a really good video talking about the history of the fannies, or Teenage Fan Club, and their members, changes in personnel, etc. So I would recommend you give that one a watch. But this is Grand Prix. I think it came after Bandwagon-esque, but then there's a really good summary of the band's heyday, and this has got this is called 4,766 seconds, a shortcut to Teenage Fan Club. And as well as the CD, you've got a couple of really nice booklets as well. So highly recommended band. I think they were from the Bells Hill area of Glasgow. So it's nearly 8 o'clock, and I've had to put up these album covers to try and block out some of the sunlight. How crazy is that? So, right, after the Teenage Fan Club, I'm going to move on to another great Scottish band from the Glasgow area, and this time it's Primal Scream. And yeah, what a great album Screamadelica is. You open with Moving On Up, that great anthem, And yeah, the acoustic and electric guitars and the female backing vocals, and it's just a wonderful celebration of Scottish music. And then there is Don't Fight It, Feel It, featuring Denise Johnson, and some very interesting special effects, special sonic effects. But yeah, we've also got Loaded and Higher Than the Sun, Shine Like the Stars, I'm Coming Down. Just a great album with a great album cover, which was featured on a Royal Mail postage stamp a little while back. So iconic sleeve from Primal Scream. And then also wanted to cover a few other bands from, this is a John Peel tribute album. But on this, we've got the Jesus and Mary Chain, the Belle and Sebastian, the Cocteau Twins, and I think there's also the Delgados, if that's the right way to pronounce it. So on this John Peel tribute album, we've got quite a few Scottish bands. So that, I think that shows you how important they were to indie rock, and some great bands. And yeah, just sidewalking as you know, a track from Jesus and Mary Chain. You know, I must get Psycho Candy into my collection as well. And then, of course, Scotland also has its superstars in the classical genre. And we have Nicola Benedetti. And we've also got in the northeast of Scotland, Evelyn Glennie, who is a wonderful world-class percussionist. So great Scots superstars from the world of classical music. And now I'm going to speak about someone who has a great Scottish connection, but is actually English. But he would probably say he's more Scottish than English. But of course, I'm speaking about the Cockney Scot, Rod Stewart. So yeah, Rod Stewart's been, you know, a great pop star for Scotland. And he's written some great songs. He's recorded some of the fantastic hits from the 70s, 80s, and beyond. So yeah, we've got on this First Cut is the Deepest, I Was Only Joking, You're in My Heart, Tonight's the Night, The Killing of Georgie, Maggie May, and Do You Think I'm Sexy, Sailing, and I Don't Want to Talk About It. So Rod Stewart's greatest hits. But of course, had to show the album Smiler. So we've got tartan galore here. And inside, we can point to these two guys here. So I think the man in the front is Rod Stewart's dad, who was Scottish, and his uncle. I think there's a sort of guide to the photograph in the gatefold, and number 26 was his father, and number 27 standing behind his father was Uncle Dick, and both these guys are Scottish. And it says, pictured here with a nice pair of trousers and a substantially long cuff on the left sleeve. So let's have a look at that again. Yeah, you can see that sleeve is pretty long. So that's Rod Stewart's dad. And yeah, we've got Ronnie Wood and other guys from the band here, as well as various relatives. So he's really showing the Scottish connection there. Of course, following in the wake of Maggie May and You Wear It Well, we had that fantastic album, Atlantic Crossing, and Rod going solo. But if you want a really good overview of Rod's great career, I would recommend this CD collection called Storyteller. So on this, we've got his early stuff, such as Good Morning Little Schoolgirl and Shake and Little Misunderstood. And it goes all the way through to Handbags and Glad Rags, Country Comforts. And then on to disc 2 has Maggie May, Mandolin Wind, Stay With Me, Reason to Believe, Pinball Wizard, he does a great cover of the Who song, and Twisting the Night Away is another great one. Disc 3 covers Sailing, Stone Cold Sober, First Cut is the Deepest, The Killing of Georgie, parts 1 and 2, and Tonight I'm Yours. And then disc 4, we've got Baby Jane, People Get Ready, and This Old Heart of Mine, plus Downtown Train. So Rod Stewart, the man who claims he's Scottish, he's done tracks for Scottish team for the World Cup. And of course, if he was trying out to be a professional footballer at one point, and if he'd made it as a professional footballer, I'm sure he would have chosen to represent Scotland on the football field rather than England. But Rod Stewart, great entertainer, great musician, and an icon of popular music. Great guy. So there we have it. So that's my run through of great Scottish bands and artists. You'll be saying, but Bill, you forgot to mention Lulu, Altered Images, Orange Juice, the Bay City Rollers, and Roller Mania, and No Marmalade. Marmalade had a big hit with a cover of the worst ever Beatles song, Obla Dee, Obla Da, but we won't mention that. So, and No Proclaimers. Some people think I'm not very patriotic at all, but for some reason or other, I never got into the Proclaimers. Quite like A Letter from America. Not so sure about some of the other stuff, but Sunshine on Leith and Sunshine on Aberdeen. So I hope you've enjoyed my part 2 of the Scottish connection, and apologies if your favourite Scottish band didn't appear in either part 1 video or the part 2 of Scottish Connections. But bye for now, and we'll see you again another time. Thanks, bye.